Welcome to another edition of Small Talk for You. This morning we're going to contribute some code back up to the bastgoodies.com site. We're going to put the CounterMap there, which is not really the best example of a useful thing for the community, but it's an example that will demonstrate how these tools work. What I've done is I've grabbed the bastgoodies.com tools. One of the last screencasts we did, we loaded this into our repository. I've loaded it into this image to save a little time in the screencast. Going up, you'll find that I've got the Counter app in here, and this is the one I want to contribute up, and you'll notice I've loaded this one as well. If you right-click here, you'll notice all the way down at the bottom of the menu are two options: Edit Project, Annotations, and Publish to Goodies. You want to do this first one first, because this gives the information to the site that is of interest to them. So I'm going to go here to the URL. I'm going to put in my URL, www.jarober.com. And then for my blog URL, I'll put the same thing, jarober.com. And then my email address, I'll just put that in. And then down here in the description, simple counter application example. Now there's wiki syntax you can use here. In the show notes, I'll leave a link to a place you can get documentation for that. And I'll hit project over here, and there's more information here you can put in for things like the project and the project URL. So I'm going to just put n/a. Well, actually, I'll put in VA screencast examples, and the project URL, I'll again just put in that. Okay, so now that I've filled everything in, you see I put in an email address. There are a bunch of URLs you can put in for things like the blog and the discussion URL. All of these are useful. Down here, they really want you to put in a license. This should be an open source project, so I put the MIT license on this. But in general, you want to put the open source license that is appropriate to your project here. And then when you're all finished, hit the OK button at the bottom. Now once I've done that, that form goes away. All I've done so far is added annotations. At this point, I want to go back to the menu and go to the bottom here where it says Publish to the site. And it says, are you sure you want to upload this to the open source repository? I say yes. What it'll do is it'll export it and publish it to the site. You'll see this little dialog. And when it's done, we should be able to go back here to the site, refresh the view. And having refreshed the view, you see CounterMap here. We see the version 1.1 in there. We see the applications to make it up, the configuration expressions. All of that's in there. And we've now got this listed in the repository of things that are available to the BA Smalltalk community. That's really all there is to using it. 2 steps. Edit the annotations, fill in all the appropriate information, and then publish it up, and boom, you're done. Now, the author of this stuff, and again, I'll have the link in the show notes, Ernest Micklay, has said that he intends to have support for loading directly from this repository into Envy without this kind of intermediate step that we went through in the last screencast on this. So keep looking at this site, bastgoodies.com, and see if there's that kind of improvement coming. But this is really cool stuff. So, until next time, have fun with whatever Smalltalk you're using.